Husker fans, Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra. We're here inside Memorial Stadium for the Thursday practice update. Fun stuff today from the Nebraska offensive players. Offensive coordinator Marcus Satterfield, running backs coach E.J. Barthel, running back Gabe Irvin, Ramir Johnson, tight end Nate Boerkircher, and center Ben Scott. It was a pretty good crew of folks talking today. We're going to focus on the running backs. Obviously, a really competitive room at this point. I think Nebraska likes what they have in that room, and they have kind of a top three group. I don't think those guys are in any order at this point, but it's obviously Gabe Irvin, Anthony Grant, and Ramir Johnson. Johnson looks larger. He's probably up to 190 pounds. Again, he was that in 2021. I think he went down last year because they thought he was going to play some receiver. Now he's back up, and he looks good. And I think he's feeling good, too, about the kind of opportunities he might have in this particular offense. I think he felt a little abandoned last year by whatever they were trying to accomplish, and I think in this particular system he feels kind of whole again. Like he's coached by a guy from New Jersey. The head coach is from New Jersey. His mindset is kind of the same as the head coach's mindset, and I think he feels really good about where they're at. Well, here are the things that they're trying to figure out. Now that you get into training camp, it's not just a question of everybody loving on each other and everybody feeling great. You got to have separators. So you get to the depth chart moment. You got a 1, you got a 2, you got a 3. Barthel talked about the things that are going to separate 1 and 2 and 3. One of those is going to be the kind of physicality that he wants them to play with. He uses a lion physicality, a lion mentality that he wants all of his players to play with, sort of a dominant contact, move the pile, hit people hard when you go in between the tackles. Then he talked about pass protection, not collecting pass rushers, but go ahead and again, delivering that first blow. So he talked about pass protection. In this particular system, there's going to be a lot of pass plays and a lot of run plays that kind of look the same out of similar formations, and you do not want to take somebody out of the game and put somebody else in just for a passing play. Then you're kind of tipping your hand. And then ball security, and obviously that's important. I expect the ball security to be pretty good. I think the ball security was relatively good last year. The one guy that didn't have great ball security last year was A.J. Allen, and then he didn't have it in the spring game either, and then A.J. Allen wasn't here. So I think there was a sense of, hey, as talented as Allen is, and I think he's a really talented open field runner, the fact of the matter is he fumbled the ball, and that's something that I don't think they're going to tolerate within the program. You fumble a couple of times over the course of 3 or 4 weeks, and I think you're going to have a hard time getting back on the field. So those are the main areas where I think they're focusing. Barthel does like where Ramir Johnson is in terms of his toughness and his versatility. I think he likes where Gabe Irvin is about being consistent, maybe off the field, as he said, being the guy every day, the guy that's ready to come to meetings, that's ready to come to practice. And Anthony Grant, who is a super talented runner once you get him past the first level, is learning how to run at the first level. You know, he's learning how to read blocks. He's getting better at understanding where the hole should have broken. As anybody who watched Anthony Grant last year, when he got to the hole and he knew where it was and he got through it, boy, he was special 5 yards downfield. But there were way too many runs late in the season against Big Ten defenses where he was just trying to run around everybody and we'd lose 2 or 3 yards per carry. I mean, it was kind of rough to watch at times because Grant was just not hitting the holes. And sometimes you're going to get through 2 or 3 yards, and that's all you're getting. You're not going to get 17 yards, and trying to run around everybody in the Big Ten is not going to work. At the fullback perspective, Barrett Liebentritt. He is the Omaha Skutt graduate and Notre Dame transfer. He's turning heads. I think there's a very good chance that when you're talking about a traditional fullback, that Liebentritt might be in the lead there. Ramir Johnson said he's a true ideal fullback. I think they feel good. Satterfield and Barthel feel good about what he's bringing to the table. Liebentritt has been working with the running backs, like the running backs, in that top group. So on Monday it was Gabe Irvin, and it was Anthony Grant, who's changed to number 23, and it was Ramir Johnson, and it was Barrett Liebentritt. It's because then I have that second group with Quentin Ives and Emmett Johnson. So I think Liebentritt's put himself in good shape. That's going to be a committee deal. I don't think you're going to see one running back emerge. Satterfield joked today that it would be ideal if they had Bo Jackson, but they don't have Bo Jackson. They have some good running backs, though, or they think they do, and I think you're going to see a couple of guys rotate. Nothing otherwise super outstanding today. I think they feel good about where they are offensively. As you know, this kind of scheme and this kind of NFL style is going to variable to week. You know, sometimes plays are going to work, sometimes they're not. The advantage to running this offense is you can get in a lot of different personnel groupings, and you can run a lot of things out of those personnel groupings, and Nebraska's just going to have to get into the season and perfect some of those plays as they go on. One thing I really appreciated today was Barthel said that a zone, an inside zone or an outside run, is a, quote, expensive, unquote, run. What he means by that is that you got to take a lot of time to practice it because it's a rhythm thing, and you got to get it, and you got to get it. It's kind of like jumping into a double Dutch jump rope. If you've ever done that, which I did when I was a kid, I was actually pretty good at it. It's kind of like that. You got to have timing. It's not run into the middle, run into the back of your offensive lineman and push. You got to kind of have just a little bit of a timing thing right when you get to the line of scrimmage, and then you got to know where that play is going to break, and I think that's the thing that they're working with Anthony Grant on. Okay, well, that is all of our update for today. We will be back on Saturday. Matt Rule talking to reporters about the first week of camp. I don't think they're going to have a scrimmage on Saturday. They might have a light scrimmage, but I think your two heavier scrimmages are going to be in the subsequent weeks. So he'll recap week one, and then he'll come back on Monday and recap whatever happened over the weekend. The players seem to like being in the dorms, although of course it's not perfect. Okay, for Husker Extra and Omaha World-Herald, I'm Sam McKewon. Thanks, Husker fans.